Welcome back to Reds Fusion LFC. Liverpool's transfer world is on fire right now. Spurs have dropped a blunt response over Micky van de Ven. Mohamed Salah's Anfield future is suddenly being branded inevitable, and Arne Slot's second-season Reds are taking shape for a serious Champions League push. Big claims, big tension, and massive implications for Liverpool's future. Let's break it all down.
Tottenham issue blunt response to Liverpool transfer interest in Micky van de Ven this week, but the club will not consider selling the Netherlands star this summer. Tottenham Hotspur have no appetite to sell Micky van de Ven amid speculation that Liverpool are avid admirers of the talented Netherlands international and could move for him at the end of the season. The Premier League champions are expected to prioritize the signing of a top central defender in the summer transfer window after missing out on a deal with Marc Guéhi, who joined Manchester City last week, and a move for Van de Ven, who has been one of the top flight's most impressive center-backs since joining from Wolfsburg in 2023, would fit the bill. It was claimed on Wednesday that Liverpool are developing a keen interest in the 24-year-old, who has so far resisted attempts to tie him down to a longer contract. But Sky Sports say that Tottenham have no plans to allow Van de Ven to leave, with the Dutchman still under contract for 3.5 more years, given the club hold a 1-year option to extend his current terms. That means Liverpool would have likely to cough up an astronomical sum to try and convince their Premier League rivals to change their mind if they do decide Van de Ven is their top centre-back target, with a figure of £100 million mooted. The report adds that fresh contract talks are planned soon, in the hope that Van de Ven will commit his future to Tottenham long-term and shut down any speculation. Spurs' head coach, Thomas Frank, also talked down claims that Van de Ven is unhappy at the club in his press conference on Thursday afternoon, saying, "I've just seen Micky today. He seems very happy and smiling, very happy after the game we won in the changing room. He's a fantastic player and a fantastic ambassador for this club. He's maybe had his best season for the club. He's growing as a leader and a big player for the future. I would say he is a very important player for us. Micky is a Tottenham player for us now and the future."
Mohamed Salah's Liverpool exit now inevitable as transfers fall into place. Mohamed Salah continues to be courted by Saudi Pro League clubs, and although he is reconciled with Arne Slot, there is a renewed confidence that he will leave Liverpool. Powerful figures in Saudi Arabian football are increasingly confident that Mohamed Salah will leave Liverpool in the summer transfer window. Salah has been through a turbulent patch with Liverpool manager Arne Slot, and while a move this month is now off the cards, a decision on his future will be taken at the end of the season. Salah has long been linked with a big money move to Saudi Arabia, and speculation grew in December after he very publicly fell out with Slot. The Egyptian accused Slot of throwing him under the bus during a poor period of form for the team, and the possibility of an exit in January appeared likely. However, Salah's time away from Liverpool while playing for Egypt at the Africa Cup of Nations gave both sides time to consider their positions, and the air has now been cleared. Salah went straight into the starting lineup for the Reds' 3-0 win over Marseille upon his return on Wednesday, and things have settled down. The Saudi football gold rush is showing signs of slowing down, with a handful of the stars lured from Europe's top leagues now looking to return, but Salah holds a completely different status as the most high-profile Muslim player in the world, and top Saudi sides remain interested. The I paper quotes a source from the country who feels a summer transfer for Salah from Liverpool to the Saudi Pro League is inevitable. It was previously reported that Al Hilal, Al Qadsiya, and Neom were interested in signing Salah, while Pro League chief Omar Mugarbel has publicly stated that he is welcome in the division. The Telegraph have reported that Salah and Vinicius Jr. are the two primary targets for the league, with Sadio Mane, Fabinho, and N'Golo Kante and Karim Benzema all potentially moving on in 2026. There was a feeling that the Pro League will need to make a splash in the summer transfer window to maintain their momentum. That sense will only build if Kante and Ruben Neves leave Saudi Arabia this month. Ex-Chelsea midfielder Kante is in talks to join Fenerbahce from Al Ittihad, while ex-Wolves star Neves has been linked with Manchester United, among other clubs. Meanwhile, the Saudi Pro League is also aware of the competition from the Qatari Stars League, which has already attracted Roberto Firmino, Marco Verratti, and Julian Draxler. Salah is under contract with Liverpool until June 2027 after signing an extension worth £350,000 a week at the end of last season. Liverpool rejected a $150 million offer from Al Ittihad in September 2023 and have consistently insisted he is going nowhere, and Slot was full of praise for his professionalism after the win in Marseille. It says a lot about how big a professional he is that he can be away for more than a month with a different team and be so fit to play 90 minutes for us after one day of training. He was so close to a goal. It would usually be a goal from him, but it didn't harm us because we scored 3.
Arne Slot's second season, Liverpool looked tailor-made for the Champions League, but concern remains. Arne Slot has come out swinging when faced with questions over his future, and the Reds' boss is finding solace in the Champions League this season. If Arne Slot was comfortable enough laughing off questions over Xabi Alonso in Marseille on Tuesday night, the Liverpool boss came out swinging when job security was put to him in more general terms this week. Slot, bizarrely, was asked as he faced the media at Orange Velodrome to preview the following evening's Champions League clash with Roberto De Zerbi's side if he had been in touch with Alonso, who is now without a job having been relieved of his duties at Real Madrid earlier this month. The phrasing of the question may have been lost in translation somewhat from a reporter whose first language was not English, but after initially seeing the funny side, Slot conceded it was one of the weirdest he had ever fielded as a coach. Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk went one further, branding it disrespectful when he spoke to reporters after Wednesday's 3-0 win over the League One side. And even for many of those who feel Slot may never rescale the heights of his first year on Merseyside, the direct poser over Alonso was beyond the mark. Asked more widely if he felt under pressure in an interview with TNT Sport to preview the game, Slot talked up his achievements on Merseyside, which, of course, included the Premier League title in his maiden campaign. It remains, regardless of the varying opinions on this year's trials and tribulations, a spectacular feat of coaching from the Dutchman and his staff. Because people don't expect that it is possible for me to be successful, that is news to me. But if you are 1.5 years in the job and you have won the League once at a club that has won it twice in 30 years, then I am surprised to hear what you're saying. Some, of course, have denounced the reply from Slot, claiming it was the sort of 2 leagues in 30 years retort one might encounter from a rival fan base in the nether regions of social media. But having been so openly quizzed on his credentials at a time when his team were on a 12-game unbeaten sequence, one that has been admittedly uninspiring at times, the Liverpool boss felt he was within his rights to highlight what he has brought to this club already. A draw-laden start to 2026 in the Premier League was given the ideal tonic in France, as Liverpool looked a more purposeful outfit in the final third, while also defending as a unit and keeping an OM side who had scored 14 times in their last 2 games to very little on the night. Alisson Becker was on hand to make a handful of smart saves, but it was a game Liverpool deservedly won. And the return of Mohamed Salah was also a welcome sight for a team who have, more generally, found it difficult to create high-value chances in the volume expected by a demanding fan base of late. Salah, on another day, would have returned 2 goals on his first start since November, while Hugo Ekitike could have had a hat-trick. That neither were even on the score sheet bodes well generally.
Liverpool transfer news as Micky van de Ven pushing for exit amid Mohamed Salah claim. Liverpool transfer news as Micky van de Ven could hand the Reds a boost ahead of the summer, while the club has been told why it should offload Mohamed Salah now. With just over a week left until the end of the transfer window, time is running out if Liverpool is going to do any major business. The Reds' focus so far this month has been on adding more youngsters to its academy, with more Tala Ndiaye arriving, while a deal looks to be in the works for Ifeanyi Ndukwe. No senior players have made the move to Anfield since the turn of the year, though. That might come as a concern to some supporters, given the injury problems that currently lie in defense for Arne Slot.
If the latest reports are to be believed, though, Liverpool may have been given a boost in the pursuit of one potential center-back target. Here is the Liverpool.com verdict on the transfer gossip to emerge around the Reds today. Micky van de Ven, Tottenham. Micky van de Ven is pushing to leave Tottenham this summer, according to TalkSport. The defender is seeing his name being increasingly linked with Liverpool, with reports this week suggesting that the Reds will look to test Spurs' resolve. That will come at a price, though. According to this latest claim, Tottenham values Van de Ven at more than £100 million, $134 million. That, it suggested, could be enough to put Liverpool off, with the Reds unlikely to repeat the spending spree that saw Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak signed last summer. Mohamed Salah, Liverpool. Troy Deeney has called for Liverpool to sell Mohamed Salah before the end of the current transfer window. The Egyptian's future, of course, remains somewhat up in the air after his outburst last month, although his return to the side against Marseille would seem to suggest that things have been patched up. Former Watford striker Deeney, though, insists that it would be best for both parties if Salah were to move on this month. I think, with the noise surrounding him, the ego surrounding him, I think with how Liverpool are trying to move on, I just think it's not going to work long-term for the pair of them. Listen, let's call it as it is. He's been fantastic, arguably the best Liverpool player of this generation alongside Steven Gerrard. They just need to part ways now. I'd like to see it dealt with quicker rather than later, before it gets ugly. Asked whether he means in the summer, Deeney responded, "No, I mean in January." Everyone's forgetting it was only just before Christmas when it was all bad, all terrible, the club had betrayed, all these different things. This 13-game unbeaten run, he hasn't been a part of it. That's all I'm saying.